Thank you, sir. The next session is by Dr. Syed, intervention cardiologist from Father Willow Medical College, and he will be speaking on sinus node disease and ECG manifestation.
Good evening to you all. All are awake, I feel. Or are you sleeping? The ECG workshop, I thought there will be some kind of an interaction is required. Heart is a very fascinating organ. Why it is so? It has to work throughout the time without any break, just like working as a motor pump, where the motor pump pumps the water, what the heart does, it pumps the blood. For which to work, you need to have an electrical energy. It can convert it into a mechanical energy, where heart itself is having an intrinsic energy. Have you ever thought of that? The heart, how many times in a lifespan the heart is beating? More than 2.5 billion times beat is happening in a lifespan. And 1.5 million liter of blood is pumping in a lifetime. What a fascinating organ. Now my topic concludes for anatomy of anatomy of the conductive system, sinus node and its blood supply, and various associated diseases of a sinus node like a sinus arrhythmia, sinus pause and exit, and sixth sinus syndrome. The conductive system implies that it is the electrical pathway of an electrical impulse that causes a heartbeat. Very simple. Where it begins? It begins from the SA node. It is called as electrical powerhouse. Electrical powerhouse of the heart. SA node, it has been situated in the right atrium at the junction of the SVC or at the upper end of the sulcus terminalis, a specialized cells which has got its own activity for producing the electrical current. It doesn't depend on anybody else. Its automaticity is being the faster than any parts in the heart. It has taken up a beat between 60 and 100 beats per minute. Now comes to the second part. The sinus node generates an impulse or start activating, sending impulse to the AV node. You should keep in mind that it forms an electrical impulse from the SA node and it is going into the AV node at a speed bit lesser. That means it has got a property for a backup pacemaker. So from SA node to AV node, it conducts little slowly. It is called a speed breaker. We have a speed breaker there. So SA node sends the impulse to the AV node and it delivers the impulse to the other system through the Purkinje system and the other cardiac muscles, ventricles, and forming a cardiac contractions. It takes up by its own. If the SA node fails, it takes up the second backup pacemaker that is about 40 to 60 beats per minute. A small structure is there. That is a bundle of His. It's a delay occurs in there, and it has been conducting to the bundle branches and to the Purkinje cells and forming the ventricular contraction. If SA node fails, AV node take up. AV node fails, the Purkinje or the bundle branch take up at the speed of 20 to 40 beats per minute. Now, if you look at this scenario, if the atria or sinus node, the impulse transfers through interatrial nodes, both atria, left and right atria depolarizes. That means it contracts. It produces a waveform called a P wave. It has been mentioned in the previous speaker. I just mentioning. There is a delay happening, reaching into the AV node. Then you have forming a PR interval. This delay, most of the part of the PR interval, that is the conduction time taking to the delay between the SA node to the AV node, that delay is representing as the PR interval, and then it is going into the bundle branches. There is also the conduction time is taking the later part of the PR interval. Again, they is going into the ventricular sector and through the Purkinje fibers and forming the ventricular contraction. So entire part is a ventricular contraction called depolarization. Why the delay is happening? It is a time given for the atria to fill, or the contraction and ventricle to fill the blood. That is the time which is being given for this is a natural mechanism. Now these are the plateau phase, as somebody is asking, that the isoelectric segment of the ST, where the body fluid having a current, that is why it takes a little longer time and producing the broad wave called a repolarization wave, that is called a T wave. This is a schematic representation of this mechanism, electrical activity as well as the mechanical function. You cannot isolatedly, you cannot have the mechanical function alone. Electrical current is required to have a mechanical function. That means ECG is not the one only to interpret the entire disease. You may have to correlate sometimes in the echocardiogram as well. What you see in the echocardiogram may not reflect in the ECG. What you see in the ECG may not reflect in the echocardiogram. You might have experienced this fact. This is the brief overview. SA node to AV node, bundle his, then going to the bundle branches under the Purkinje fibers, the entire ventricular muscle into a contractile system. How this schematic representation correlating with the ECG? You have SA node to AV node, thereby the atrial repolarization taking place. Then AV node, part of the PR interval, then entire QRS complex, that means the ventricular contraction occurs, that is the ventricular depolarization. The remaining part is called ventricular repolarization. Now, summary, SA node is a electrical powerhouse. AV node is a backup pacemaker. Ventricular cells are again backup pacemaker. It take its own way. How is take up the body or the cardiac output definitely comes down as the heart rate comes down, you will have all the symptoms of bradycardia. Now coming to the briefly about the blood supply, you might have seen that most of the time patients are coming with an MI having a sinus bradycardia or a complete heart block. 55% of the population, the SA node has been supplied by the RCA, 35% has been supplied by the LCX, another 10% is by both, whereas in the AV node, posterior descending artery, majority of the case, 90% of the population have been supplied by the right coronary artery. That is why you get right coronary artery infarct or the RCA, inferior wall MI, most of the time they present with a complete heart block. If it is affecting the left posterior descending artery. If it is little high, you may get the sinus bradycardia, maybe compensatory taking place in other vessels. What do you call for normal sinus rhythm? This is the only rhythm called as normal sinus rhythm. Whenever you read an ECG, you should have certain steps. First of all, rhythm, whether it is normal. Next is abnormal. The abnormality you have to elaborate. Both atria and ventricles are depolarized at a regular interval. Thereby, PP interval, RR interval, almost regular. That means, again, P to P intervals are the same length as the R to R interval. You have a PR duration, QRS duration, and a rate between the 60 to 100 beats per minute. Any of this deviates, you will have abnormal rhythm, either in the form of brady or in the form of tachy, or bradyarrhythmia or tachyarrhythmia. Previous speaker already spoke about the sinus arrhythmia. No need to mention, but let me tell you some things. It usually happens in the deep inspiration and expiration. There are certain other conditions also can have, but how do you recognize this? There are certain factors you should see. Here, P to P interval, R to R interval are changing with the respiration, whereas PR interval is constant. PR interval is constant. Whenever you see an ECG complex, either P wave is followed by the QRS complex, is there or not. In a sinus arrhythmia, the PP interval and RR interval varies, but a PR interval constant and the QRS complex is normal, not all the time, you have a P wave normal, but QRS may be a broadened one that is different. So longest RR interval will be lesser than the length of any of the remaining RR interval is the fact. It can be due to any sinus nodal disease, maybe aging factor, coronary artery disease, or may be seen in the young and in infants. This is the common where you can see the sinus arrhythmia. What do? Do you really need? No. But if the cardiac output any time decreases, producing the symptoms, you may act on that. This is the ECG. What I said is a PR interval, RR interval, PP interval, and RR interval is varying it. Is it there? Definitely there. But complex is normal, but PR interval is a constant here. So P to P, R to R, irregular. Longest RR interval will be lesser than the twice of the lesser than that. This longest RR interval. If you take these two RR interval is longer or bigger, or this is the shorter. Main part of my talk is on bradycardia. As I said, SA node has to generate impulse. Broadly, we can classify the bradyarrhythmias are either due to impulse formation disorder or abnormality of the formed impulse forming a conduction. That means SA node is producing an impulse, but it is not delivering it. There is an arrest there. That is one type of disorder. SA node itself is not producing any kind of a impulse. So that is, these are the two things we should keep in mind in the bradyarrhythmia. Either could be a impulse formation disorder or impulse conduction disorder. That means impulse is formed, not delivering. No postman, only post office is there. What are the categories that comes under? If you take the impulse disorder formation, as we see most commonly, sinus bradycardia. Here the SA node is being depolarizing slowly. That means that the automaticity is less. SA node is being influenced by the autonomic nervous system. It could be parasympathetic as well as the sympathetic. If the increased vagal tone, definitely there is a decreased heart rate. Whereas the increased heart rate, sympathetic tone definitely increase in the heart rate. That is depends on the nerve supply or it is the physiology. So here what is happening is the automaticity of the contractile or the impulse formation is reduced in SA node. Thereby you have sinus bradycardia. What could be the etiology most of the time? It can be a normal aging, as previously I was telling that in athletic heart, 50 to 20% of people will have an MI that is due to the inferior valve MI, hypothyroidism, hypokalemia, infiltrative disorders, and SLA collagen vascular disease, and keep on going. What we forget to see that majority of the patient, they may be put on the drugs which is causing this, especially the beta blocker, any channel blockers, digitalis, all these can give rise to this kind of things. Before analyzing any ECG, there are certain factors you should look was whether the patient is symptomatic or not. If the patient is symptomatic, or sinus bradycardia is the patient is symptomatic, if the patient's symptoms are related to this, or the patient is on any drugs which is causing this, or do we really intervene in such a patient or not? Most of the time, sinus arrhythmia, no need of treatment. Sinus bradycardia, unless otherwise they are symptomatic, we don't need any treatment. The second topic under the broad abnormalities of impulse formation is sinus arrest. What is sinus arrest? It has been characterized by the failure of the SA node to form the impulse throughout sinus. Although sinus pause and sinus arrest there are almost similar term, it has been used. Sinus pause, there is a brief period of arrest, whereas sinus arrest is such a longer arrest. Now, how do we identify? If a sinus pause comes, the R to R interval or the rhythm which is being not lengthened. Whereas the sinus arrest long, the next rhythm after the pause is coming cannot be normal. There is an irregularity, there is a delay is there. So that is the way we can identify. Because of this, they are often used the same term, not able to clearly identify which is sinus arrest and which is sinus pause. You see this? You have a sinus rhythm 3, then there is a pause, and you get a, again, normal sinus rhythm, and it has been almost equal. So this is called a failure of a sinus discharge. Absence of where the sinus discharge is not there, what is the result? There is no impulse originating from the SA node. There is no atrial contraction. There is no atrial depolarization. Thereby what will happen? Ventricular depolarization will not be there. That means there is a asystole period. That is called absence of the complex there. That's called, we say, that is a sinus arrest. I already explained that on the ECG there is an absence of a QRS complex, PQRST, resulting in the post indeterminate length. Sinus node most often resume the pacemaker activity. Now what I say is that if the sinus node is taking up, then the AV node will take up. If the AV node is not taking up, then the other part of the myocardium will take up. So you have junctional rhythm, you may have idioventricular rhythm, and according to that it may be tachycardia or bradycardia. Now if you see this figure, this is the normal sinus rhythm where there is a sinus arrest, AV node is being taken up, then it is called as a junctional rhythm. There is no P wave. Now sometimes you may get a retrograde conduction from here to there. There is an inverted P wave. If it is a Purkinje system, then it is a broad complex. That is the way it is working on. What is this? Can you tell me? You can see sinus rhythm. There is a missed complete absence, exactly. Then it is a RR interval or regularity RR is not interrupted. Following the pause, you have an RR, it is not almost similar. There is no, RR is not interrupted at all. Then it can be a sinus block. What is this? You can see the three complexes here. The RR is not, this complex is supposed to come here, but it is come here. There is a RR interval is being interrupted. That means it is a sinus arrest. This is the terminology I wanted to tell you. There is no clinical much significance in that. This is again either sinus arrest, you can tell it also sinus block. Now the third one is what we commonly see is Brady-Tachy syndrome. The word itself gives the meaning. Brady-Tachy syndrome. I may take a little 5 minutes more. Kindly excuse. Brady-Tachy syndrome, it is nothing but a common variant of the sixth sinus syndrome, where patient does not know, doctors does not know. Then we put it at a single query, put it as sixth sinus syndrome. Who is sick? Sinus is sick. Where is what is syndrome? Complex. Nobody knows what is happening. It is called a sixth sinus syndrome. When the syndrome terms comes in, it is a broad idea. So many things are grouped together. Sixth sinus syndrome, it is a complex term. So it is one of the part of the sixth sinus syndrome. Either it could be a alternating between the slow beat and then into the tachycardia, bradycardia, tachycardia. Most of the time, Brady-Tachy syndrome is a sinus bradycardia or tachycardia which has been interrupted some of the supraventricular arrhythmias, not below, above the AV. So these bradycardia or tachycardia have been arrested or been terminated or been formed by some of the supraventricular arrhythmia. What are the supraventricular arrhythmia? We can say atrial tachycardia, atrial flutter, atrial fibrillation. These are the things which comes along with this. Then it is called as a Brady-Tachy syndrome. You can see in this figure intermittent episodes of the slow and the fast rate from the SA node or the atria. This is the rate at the 60 beats per minute. The followed one which is called as a more than 100 beats per minute. What is this? Can you, anybody can just, this is a tachycardia bradycardia syndrome, but can you elaborate the ECG, please? There is a beat, followed, what is this? Beg your pardon? Yeah, you are right. When you say loudly only, I can correct you. So multiple P waves are there. There are flutter waves. Then it is coming sinus. Okay, these are the, and again complexes you can get. There is no P wave much, but you can see the P wave. Then you have an arrest, a total arrest. So here you have a brady, atrial flutter, then you have a tachy, then you have a sinus arrest. This is called tachybrady syndrome, abruption, abrupt termination of the tachycardia by any of the blocks. What is this? Again, brady tachy syndrome. This is a rhythm strip shows there is a narrow complex tachycardia, probably a flutter here. Then this also, there is no P wave seen, not seen. Then you have a sinus pause, and two sinus beats you have after that. Then again sinus arrest you have. So this is called another example for the brady-tachy syndrome. My last part of the talk is impulse conduct formation, or the disorder of the impulse conduction, where there is no postman, only post office there. You have two varieties are there. One is sinoatrial exit block, and my next speaker is going to speak on the AV blocks. These are the two things which is coming in that heading. So impulse formation disorder and impulse conduction disorder. Now impulse formation we already described. Now impulse conduction, where there is SA node is okay, the other part is not there. Sinoatrial exit block. You can see that transient block of the impulse from the SA node. You can see the PP interval relationship between these two. These are the sinus pause. You have P waves are there, but there is no conduction is there. So it implies that there is a delay or failure of the normally generated sinus impulse to exist in the nodal region. It can be a three varieties: first degree SA block, second degree SA block, third degree SA block. This is good for writing, not good for identifying. The only block, SA block, can be identified second degree. That too, type 1. Now first degree, this is the analog of the AV block. Don't get confused. These are the analogs of the AV block. The same person is being named after. Understood? It implies the conduction time where each impulse leaving the node is prolonged. It is prolonged. That's what we say. This is the problem, cannot be detected in EKG, can be detected in the electrophysiology. Now we come to the second degree type, type 1, Wengibat phenomenon. What we do in AV block, Wengibat phenomenon, which are the interval we see? PR interval. What happens here? PP interval. No PR interval. PP interval. The pause duration between the is less than 2 preceding PP interval. These are the rule of 3. Number 1, PP interval gradually shortens until a pause occurs. The pause duration is less than the 2 preceding P interval. PP interval following the pause is greater than the PP interval just before the pause. You can see here this 2 PP interval is, and this is this long pause, shorter and longer from the preceding and other thing. This is called type 1 SA exit block. Type 2's exit block is PP interval fairly constant. As we see in the AV block, the pause is approximately twice the basic PP interval. This is the example. This is the basic thing where twice of this one, that is 1080 milliseconds of each complex from the R to R, again from here to here, 2 times is being there for the after the exit block. Then it is termed as a type 2 SA block, twice. Okay. Now third degree, no need to worry. There's a last part I take. Is okay. 6 sinus syndrome. What I said is a no man's land, where you have a collective term that includes a range of SA node dysfunction that manifests in a very different way. It can be persistent inappropriate sinus bradycardia. It can be intermittent sinus pause and arrest. It can be the exit block, junctional rhythm, and tachybrady syndrome. You have a patient, most of the time elderly patient will have symptoms of low cardiac output, Sometimes they can have an angina as well. 50% of the people will have SS, the sick sinus syndrome also displays some kind of a degree of the AV node dysfunction as well. This is another call. You can have a with sinus bradycardia with the sinus pause. Etiologies are basically we see that if sinus node fibrosis, atherosclerosis, congenital heart disease, after the surgery, drugs and etc. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. K.S. Bhatt, Professor of Medicine, to hand over a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Syed. Thank you, sir.